We do not have a free medical market in the United States. It has been completely monopolized by the MDs for the last 100 years. And you're right that the MDs are really excellent at trauma care and some type of infections. If you have a bullet in your leg, you get your leg blown off in Iraq, you have a nasty pneumonia that botanical medicine couldn't fix, you break your leg skiing, you get somebody T-bones you at the intersection, they are good at that, but that is the only thing that allopathic medicine is good at. The reason that we have a healthcare crisis in this country, the reason that bankruptcy, the leading cause of bankruptcy is medical bills, the reason that our health is getting worse and worse and chronic disease is getting more and more is because MD-directed, allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical medicine for chronic disease does not work. This is why the MDs are in the driver's seat of medicine now. It is not because their therapeutics are more effective. It is not because their therapeutics are more scientific. And it certainly isn't because their therapeutics are safer. It's because of financial coalitions that were built at the turn of the century between the pharmaceutical industry and medicine. And everybody has forgotten about it. We look out of our windows today and we see, son of a gun, the only medicine that they make TV shows and movies about is MD-directed medicine. What I noticed in studies, the elites, British royalty, Dutch royalty, they all go to the herbalist and the naturopath. They all actually go to the other schools. They know something, don't they? Well, it's interesting you should say that because old man Rockefeller had he kept a personal physician, a homeopath, as his personal physician, which is quite ironic when you think about it.
They've shunned all the natural ways of doing things and made them seem, they poo-poo them and everything else. And as we know, the dark side poo-poos tarot cards, but yet they use tarot readers. They poo-poo astrology, and they use astrologers.
Yeah, but they would never say that on TV or anything like that, right? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our channel called The Three of Pentacles. We are 3 tarot card readers that love to focus on world events and all types of facts that are in our lives. And we also do personal readings as well and healing. Lynn and Kaila specialize in that. In fact, let me just go ahead and introduce them. Our beautiful Kaila and our beautiful Lynn.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. And our beautiful Barbara.
Barbara.
That's right. My name is Barbara. Thank you for reminding me.
And Barbara, your
your
singing heals people as well. So you're a healer as well.
She is always dealing
yes.
with the elderly and just generally doing all her songs and shows and always uplifting people.
Yes, exactly. And it's funny because it seems like the elderly people appreciate more, pay attention more to the music than the younger people because younger people just partying. But anyway, that's a whole different video, right? We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Today, we are going to be concentrating on Mr. John D. Rockefeller and how he and his cohorts changed the medical industry. We have some information here. We said we're going to... Now, this information might be a little bit sensitive to some people. So if you feel that it's not going to be what you like, just keep listening. And I'm sure that you can probably get something out of it too. What we do is for entertainment purposes only, but not always, like I say. So let's get on to...
And just before we move on, this is the first in our series of the health series that we're going to be starting too.
Right. And don't forget to join us on Rumble because some of these shows will only be across there, depending on the topic, of course. So please join us on Rumble as well.
Yes,
Absolutely.
thank you. And thank you again for watching the videos and liking and commenting. We need some more of that. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, let's get to how Mr. John Davidson Rockefeller came in with his group of people and changed our medical industry. So we're going to find out. Did they change it for the better? Did they change it not for the better? What did he do exactly? So we're going to be reading on him. We're going to be reading on him today. Now, I believe we have a video as well. Lynn, do you have that video?
Yeah, you ready for me to start playing that one right now?
Yeah, Alex Jones is speaking to Dr. Glidden. Actually, he's speaking to Dr. Glidden. It's an old video. Dr. Glidden is a doctor that I've been following for years. He goes on to telling Alex Jones's audience how the history of the modern healthcare, how it changed with the Rockefeller family.
No, I've got this on a little bit fast forward, so it doesn't take too long in the video. So here we go.
Certainly the 1800s and
Can
early
you hear that?
1900s, the playing field of medicine was very different than it is now. Back in the day, you had the homeopaths, you had the chiropractors, you had the naturopaths, you had the osteopaths, you had the herbalists, and you had the MDs. And by the way, MDs do not practice medicine. MDs practice a particular type of medicine called allopathic medicine, right? I'm a naturopath. I practice naturopathic medicine. There's homeopathic medicine, osteopathic medicine, chiropractic medicine. Well, guess what? The MDs practice allopathic medicine. I'll tell you what that is in a second. But in the early 1900s, the playing field in medicine was relatively level here and nobody had the upper hand. There were turf wars, kind of like, in the movie Gangs of New York, right? It wasn't the prettiest of all things, but, nobody had the upper hand until 1910. When the Rockefeller Foundation and the Carnegies, it was actually the Carnegies that supported this. It was something called the Flexner Report. Carnegie's hired this guy named Abraham Flexner. He went all around the United States. Now, remember, this was before the interstate highway system, right? It took Flexner 5 years before the internet. It took him 5 years. He went all around the country on horseback and stagecoach and train. And he did an inventory of all of the medical schools and all of the hospitals in the U.S. that practiced MD-directed allopathic pharmaceutical medicine. Brought the list back to the Carnegies, which is famously referred to historically as the Flexner Report. And the Carnegies and then the Rockefellers proceeded to give millions of dollars of free money to the medical schools and the hospitals that prescribed drugs. Why? Because the Carnegies and the Rockefellers were deeply in bed with pharmaceutical companies. So guess what? If you're starting a business and I'm starting a business and you get $1 million of free money and I don't, well, guess who's going to have the bigger business? You will. This is why the MDs are in the driver's seat of medicine now. It is not because their therapeutics are more effective. It is not because their therapeutics are more scientific. And it certainly isn't because their therapeutics are safer. It's because of financial coalitions that were built at the turn of the century between the pharmaceutical industry and medicine. And everybody has forgotten about it. We look out of our windows today and we see, son of a gun, the only medicine that they make TV shows and movies about is MD-directed medicine.
Bringing the monopoly of medicine. But I noticed in studies, the elites, British royalty, Dutch royalty, they all go to the herbalist and the naturopath. They all actually go to the other schools. They know something, don't they?
Well, it's interesting you should say that because old man Rockefeller had he kept a personal physician, a homeopath, as his personal physician, which is quite ironic when you think about it. Yeah, so, really, listen, Alex, the only reason that my profession, you think we have a free medical market here in the United States? Think again. Here's the deal. As a licensed naturopathic physician, here's what I had to do to become a naturopath. 4 years pre-med, 4 years naturopathic medical school, 1,000 hours of clinical supervision. I had to pass national boards and state boards, do 25 hours of continuing education credit. In Seattle, Washington, as a licensed naturopathic physician, I can deliver babies, prescribe drugs, order any diagnostic test I want, work in hospitals, legally refer to myself as a physician, and it's all paid for by insurance. If I was to do exactly the same thing in Chicago that I did in Seattle, I'd be thrown in jail for a year and fined $5,000 for practicing medicine without a license, and that's just not right. We do not have a free medical market in the United States. It has been completely monopolized by the MDs for the last 100 years. And you're right that the MDs are really excellent at trauma care and some type of infections. If you have a bullet in your leg, you get your leg blown off in Iraq, you have a nasty pneumonia that botanical medicine couldn't fix, you break your leg skiing, you get somebody T-bones you at the intersection, they are good at that, but that is the only thing that allopathic medicine is good at. The reason that we have a healthcare crisis in this country, the reason that bankruptcy, the leading cause of bankruptcy is medical bills, the reason that our health is getting worse and worse and chronic disease is getting more and more is because MD-directed, allopathic, reductionistic, pharmaceutical medicine for chronic disease does not work.
Wow, so that's a lot to take in. I mean, people like us, we probably know a lot of this, but people that are hearing this for the first time, it's a little daunting to tell you the truth, because a lot of it I didn't even know back in the day when I first started with Dr.
To be
Glidden.
honest, I had no idea about any of this until I started researching for this show. So it's new information, and it's information everybody should know.
Yeah, I've known a lot about it because there was and I learned from the Truth About Cancer series with Ty and Charlene Bollinger. Yeah. There was a doctor in Texas that actually developed a cure for cancer. Well, the MDs and the FBI came, raided his place, shut him down, quackery. So he went to Mexico and he was able to practice. So there is actually I think a cancer clinic that's still there. It was on the western side of Mexico when that happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what they do. They get rid of anybody that comes up with cures for anything or this, that, or the other. And, it's the same as Hollywood.
That's what they did to that the MMS guy and his sons.
Hubble.
MMS?
Jim Hubble?
Okay, not Jim Humble, but the guy that took over for Jim Humble. The guy that took over for Jim Humble, he's a bishop.
Okay.
He's probably still in jail somewhere. But I wanted to say how I met Glidden. I didn't meet him personally, but how I met him through a Dr. Joel Wallach. And Joel Wallach is this older fella. He's about 90 years old.
Veterinarian.
He's a veterinarian, and he's the one that discovered the connection between animals and people. Because if you had this big farm and you had to sell animals, like you had to butcher them and sell them, or eggs or whatever, you had to keep them as healthy as possible. Yep. So they used to call him to fix the animals. And he's like, wow, well, if I could fix animals, why aren't we fixing people? Mm-hmm. And that's how Dr. Joe Wallach got started. And then he kind of brought Glidden in. I don't know how those two met, but I started following them both back in 2015, and I haven't let them go since then. Learned so much. So what are we gonna pull on?
I've asked, why did John D. Rockefeller start his medical industry?
So basically, Kyla, you want to repeat what he said,
Yeah,
how he
so
did it?
I'm just going to add a little bit more to it. So from what he said, he brought up the Flexner report. Now, from what I understand, it was written by Abraham Flexner, and this was John D. Rockefeller's personal lawyer. Now, this was also co-founded or co-funded by the Carnegie Foundation. And now both John D. Rockefeller and the Carnegie Foundation are both people who are into pharmaceuticals. They both owned pharmaceutical companies. So actually, John D. Rockefeller is called the father of the pharmaceutical company, right? And he was the one who sort of pushed using the byproducts of the oil industry as pharmaceuticals and for medicine. So what I understand is from this report, Congress gave the AMA, which is the American Medical Association, exclusive rights to determine who could call themselves a medical doctor. So before this period of time, we had, as Dr. Glidden mentioned, we had homeopaths, we had, all these different chiropractic practitioners who are all called doctors, right? And they would target, several different ailments in different ways, and that was accepted. Now, when this report came out and Congress switched over the rights to the AMA as to who can be called a medical doctor, now we found that the amount of medical doctors went from this large group to just a small group. And then the Carnegie Foundation and John D. Rockefeller went about, giving grants and even helping to form certain scholarship programs and so on. I think they had a lot of influence on what was happening at these medical schools. Now, these were the same people who were producing the drugs. So it was called by a lot of people a sort of distribution program. It's like if you're creating a distribution market, you're creating the students, you're creating the programs, and then you're also selling the product. So this was kind of strange. And this Flexner report is actually, up till today, it sort of forms the basis for the medical system, not just in the US and Canada, but throughout the world. Yeah. So, this is what is happening, and a lot of people don't even know this exists. They don't even realize this happened.
They don't know that at the turn of the century, this is when this family came in and basically monopolized the medical industry.
Right.
They monopolized it. Just like you all see that game Monopoly, you come in and you monopolize things. That's what they did.
It's interesting we're not getting more cards. The bottom of the deck was the Four of Pentacles, coins.
Okay. So how did you ask your
I asked,
question?
why did John D. Rockefeller start this allopathic medicine?
Why did Rockefeller start this allopathic medicine? So the first card, he comes up as a Six of Cups.
Which
so
it's typically a generosity, a giving cup. So maybe he did actually have some good intentions.
But it's not well aspected with the Three of Swords.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. So it comes across of this is what he wants to look like. He wants to look like this Six of Cups, this person who's kind and caring. But notice the clouds at the back of this card, right? So there's a dark element to this card. Yes, this person is facing towards the sunlight, but there's something not too good about this because we have the Three of Swords just below. And Three of Swords is usually about heartache, it's not good at all.
No. You've got some pentacles and hidden money with the bottom of the deck with the Four of Pentacles. Like he's hiding money. The Knight of Coins, definitely coming from money.
It's usually, with the Four of Pentacles, this person is holding on to that money, keeping it under their feet. It's kind of like they want to keep that whole medical system, under their feet kind of thing. It's like grabbing a hold of everything.
Yeah.
Taking a strong hold on it.
Yeah. What did we end up with? the Four of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, and we've got the Four of Swords. So things are hidden and not being looked at. So they were definitely trying to do some sneaky stuff and keeping, probably the allopaths and all the natural medicines away from people.
Right. Yeah, with the King of Wands and the Four of Swords, that's kind of what I get. The other medical professions would sort of be represented by the King of Wands, and it's like with the Four of Swords, like they're keeping those patients away from them.
Yeah, with that Seven of Wands, there was, fighting between all of the different,
Four of
just like
Swords.
Dr. Glidden said,
Yeah.
with all of, how they had their little gangs, but then you bring in this big new gang, kind of like the, what is it, the MS-13 coming in with the Rockefellers.
Yeah. That's basically what they did. Are y'all getting by chance, maybe he initially had the intentions of, because if you just pull two cards, let's say if you just pull two cards, which is with the first card is the Six of Cups, the girl that's on the swing.
Mm-hmm.
And is that the Four of Wands that I see
Yeah.
aspected with it under
Yep.
that canopy?
Yeah.
So this the Six of Cups and the Four of Wands, that's just those two cards give me, he wants something good for somebody. He wants something good to happen because it's a giving, he wants to give. But the card right under it, the Three of Swords, that's pain, frustration. So it's almost like it's almost like he wanted to do it or he was forced to do it or something, because if he's giving, if he comes up as the Six of Cups, but then he's aspected with the Three of Swords, it's almost like he wants to give it, but it's hurting for him to give. What do you all get from just those two cards right there? The Six of Cups and the Three of Swords. If there were just those two cards, how would you just read that?
With those two, I would say is kind of like a kindness to someone, as you said, but it's at the expense of other people. The Three of Swords.
Yeah, that's a good way of reading it.
Yeah.
And then the Six of Cups with the Four of Wands, that means he had intentions of getting to a certain purpose. And that was a purpose that he did. Again, I don't see any horrible cards in it. I don't
No,
wanna see,
but when
except
I
for the
asked
three-
what were his intentions, I got the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands. So I think he was definitely wanting money.
And
Well,
taking
definitely, yeah.
advantage
Yep.
of this exam. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what it was, because look at the Knight of Coins back there, the Knight of Coins holding his big old coin. He's like, he's
Yep.
one of, and in fact, what they did is that they went around to all of the pre-existing universities that were
Teaching
functioning
the
at the
MD.
time,
Yeah.
teaching. They went in and they said, and this is what I got from Dr. Glidden's one of his older, another newer video, where the Rockefellers and his people, his gang, came in and gave money, just offered money, said, hey, we see that you're doing good at this university.
Yeah.
We want to see you all do good. Here's $1 million, and $1 million back in the day, that's a lot of money. It's like, well, why are you giving me this money for?
Yeah.
What do I have to do for it? I mean, well, you don't have to do anything.
Yep.
Just put one of our people as a chairman or on your staff, and basically that's how they got in, one at a time. One year it was one person, another year it was 2 or 3 people, and that's how they basically took over the universities.
And if we look at the Four of Cups in this deck, normally we'd look at the Four of Cups in a different way. But here, this person has 3 cups in front of them, but instead of looking there, they're looking at something higher. It's kind of like they had so much. They were in the pharmaceutical industry. They had a lot going for them, but they want something higher. They have their eyes set on something more,
Yeah.
And what is it? It's at the expense of the Three of Swords, the expense of others, hurt and pain. And the Page of Cups, I would say, is like making it look like something positive, but it is at the expense of others.
Yeah.
So it was all about the money, all about the coins, but yeah, that's it. So it's a money thing.
Yep.
I would have thought it was a little bit more of control because they already had a lot of money, but I guess they wanted more.
I think they want it all, Barbara.
They want it all. Yeah. And let me see those two cards really close. Nice. And that's the Nine of Pentacles and the Ten of Wands.
Yep.
All right. So that's what that was his intention. That's what they did. They eventually infiltrated basically all of the most important universities.
And they've
At the
basically,
turn of the-
they've shunned all the natural ways of doing things and made them seem, they poo-poo them and everything else. And as we know, the dark side poo-poos tarot cards, but yet they use tarot readers. They poo-poo astrology, and they use astrologers.
Yeah,
So,
but they would never say that on TV or anything like that,
Exactly.
right? They would never say that.
no, but
So
I love how Dr. Glidden in that interview with Alex Jones stated that John D. Rockefeller had his own MD was a homeopathic.
And
So
these
it's
days,
a
if you
do
talk,
what I say, don't do as I do.
don't do as I do. And these days, if you talk about homeopathy or holistic or herbs, people think you're crazy because
They call
they
it quack.
basically, they basically boiled the frog. Just because in the reading we had a King of Pentacles, right?
Well,
And he's about his
I
money.
I wouldn't be here today, my dogs, without homeopathy and my tinctures and stuff like that. So call me a quack. I don't care.
And I have some of your tinctures that I take
Yep.
whenever I get like cold symptoms or anything like that. I have other things, but that's one of the surefire ways that that helps me.
Yep.
Now, these days, people really do feel that, and we're not trying to convince anybody. We want you all to do your own homework
Yep.
and see, just like we did. Just like Kaila said, she did some research and she found out, and this is the first time she found out. So we invite you all to
Yep.
take a listen and do your own research.
Yep.
I have my grandfather was what they called, used to be a shaman.
Yep.
So people used to come out to the house and he used to heal people. And I always wanted to know, hi, Grandpa, how did you heal that person? And he says he didn't never want to share it with us because he said, you young people, you're using it in the wrong way. And I says, what is he talking about? But that's how it was. Herbs, tinctures, these types of things. And that's what they do. They go to nature and take from nature, put some type of chemical in it. And then they make a whole different product because you can't patent nature, right?
Oh, you can't patent nature. They try to mimic it with their petroleum based. Yes.
Right. Good word for that, petroleum based. And that's what it is. So this is just the beginning. This is just an intro video just to let you all know which direction we're going into now, what series we're doing, the health series. And did you want to ask another question or want to do another poll on anything before we?
Kaila, you got anything you want to ask?
Well, we're hoping that, this changes in the near future and things go off to a different direction. Did we want to do a 3-card pull to see where the medical industry is going, or do we want to leave that for another show?
Yeah, let's do that.
That's what the question was. Yeah.
You want to? You got your cards there, Kaila?
Yeah.
And I'll do a 3-card pull too, because we want to know which direction we're going in now, since this has been so long and so many things have happened.
Yep.
Especially in the last 4 or 5 years, and information is coming out about a lot of that we went through as well.
Yeah.
Let's just put it like that. So let's see where the direction is going as far as the medical industry.
Wow.
The allopathic. Ooh.
The Empress. This is about nature. This is about abundance. She has the scepter in her hand, so she's taking her power back, and she has the ability to heal herself, to help herself, and there's abundance all around her. I don't even know if I need to pull any more.
Yeah.
But let's see. Okay, we have the Queen of Pentacles and the Page of Wands. So this is about somebody who's focused on health. Somebody who can manifest health for themselves. They're very focused on that. And the Page of Wands is sort of like having a new inspired idea, going off in a new direction. And this has to do with creative energy, even intuitive energy, right? So I think we're going in a new direction. and it's going to
Actually, I think
be.
it's probably an old direction because we've had these powers and
You're right.
abilities.
And
We're going
hopefully with new stuff as well, new
Yeah,
technology and stuff.
we're going back to the future.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it.
exactly.
I actually did a video a couple of years ago about where the healthcare industry is going. Maybe we'll bring that in whenever we start the whole series. The first card that I pulled was the Queen of Cups.
Mhm.
So there's a focus on moving it or changing our medical industry. There's the focus, they're actually concentrating on it. you
Yep.
know? Not, this is not a consideration card, they're focused, laser focused on it. I get our enthusiasm and all / military card.
Yep.
Now, if this were a page, they would be at a lower level, but they're at the intermediate stages of changing it.
Yep.
Yeah. And then I get the
Page of
Page of Pentacles. Now, Page of Pentacles, that's also a new element that's coming in. So they may be bringing it back, but there may be bringing also in new elements, like maybe the med beds or some new technology.
Yeah.
In fact, this is another card that I got. So there's some
Wow.
secrecy around that new. This is at the bottom of the deck.
Well, she's also very intuitive, and we start using our intuition for our health and everything too.
So
Awesome.
looks like whatever they did in the turn of the century, looks like the time is
Up.
coming to an end and everything is changing and we're going into a new horizon when it comes to health and
We are responsible also to bring that in. I would say we're the most important element in that. So it's time that everybody starts doing their own research, asking questions, because, before the last few years, I had no idea that doctors get paid for medicine that they prescribe. And
Yeah, they
that's
get paid if all of their clients, all of their patients are fully vaccinated. They get all kinds of side benefits from the
I think
pharmacies.
everything. So on one hand, they are told how to deal with the whole process because they can't go outside what they learn in
They
school.
can't. They cannot
So
think
then-
outside the box anymore.
Can't at all. And then they are literally told what they can prescribe. And when they go from that list, they get paid for it too. So then how can we be sure that
Well-
our best interest is at heart,
And it's not only that too. And then the ones that do try, then they have to fight the insurance companies who then have their list of what prescriptions you can use
Right.
too. So it's
And then that's the whole next rabbit hole too. with
Oh,
the
yeah,
insurance
for sure.
and all of those.
Yeah.
So
And one more thing that Dr. Glidden said, because he doesn't knock all the medical industry. He says what they're good for, and I kind of agree with him. Is like if you have a
yeah.
like an accident or if you're in a war.
if you have a
something like
gunshot
that.
wound,
Gunshot
you know,
wound.
you broken bones, you want them to heal. Yeah, absolutely. But you
Yeah.
don't necessarily want to stick around for the care. You just, hey, patch me up and send me home so I can I can heal
Yeah.
this.
To that,
Well-
we must say that we are not medical experts.
We are not medical,
We're not
yeah.
giving you any
Yeah.
advice. Please, this is use your own discernment. We are just, having a chat about it, looking at the cards to see what comes up, and we're asking you to ask questions and do some research.
Yeah.
That's all.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
All right. Well, welcome to our health series, and this is just the first of a first of many. And we'd like to thank everybody for watching the video. And go ahead and Kaila, you can tell them where they can find us.
Right. So, well, thank you so much for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Please make sure to leave us a comment. Let us know what you would like us to read on, or just let us know how we're doing. Also, you can find us on Facebook. We have a community there. All of the links will be down below. We're also on Rumble. Please join us there because a lot of our shows might be going across there for this series.
And if there's any medical people or anything from the health industry that you want us to pull cards on, let us know. We'll add it to the health series. Bye, everybody.
Thank you for watching.
Bye.